G'day, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another MGUY EV Quickie. If you've been playing along at home, which I hope you have, you'll know that on the 12th of September there's going to be a meeting in Europe between Ursula von der Leyen and the auto manufacturers in that continent to try and persuade the European Union to ease off on their EV mandates. And we've covered this in a couple of videos. Ola Kalenius, the CEO of Mercedes, has recently written a letter, an open letter, which we've discussed in a previous video, which I'll link in the description, about how he is recommending that the EU follow a more technology independent route towards reducing emissions, i.e. that people can continue to buy efficient combustion engines alongside other technologies like hybrid and EVs. And in today's articles, we're going to be looking at another company, automaker, which is pushing for that same kind of outcome, but also an interesting response from the EV manufacturers. Guess what they want? So firstly, we have this article, New Stellantis CEO calls for EU help to support car sector. The new chief executive of car maker Stellantis has urged the European Union to show flexibility on the transition to electric vehicles in order to protect the auto industry. A strategic dialogue is very important, but now it's vital to act with urgency. There is no time for delays, said Antonio Filosa, who became Stellantis CEO in June. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen is set to host automotive sector executives on September 12th to discuss the future of the sector, which is facing twin threats of Chinese competition in electric vehicles and US tariffs. Filosa, head of a group whose brands include Fiat, Alfa Romeo, Peugeot, Chrysler, Jeep and Opel, called on the European Commission to support the sale of cars such as hybrids to bring down the average age of vehicles on the road. A European policy that encourages the replacement of older cars with new cars and a wider choice of powertrains would have a greater impact on global CO2 emissions than the annual new car market does, he said in a joint interview with Italy's Il Sole 24 Hours and France's Les Echos. So that's a slightly different take from the Stellantis boss. What he's saying is that if we can modernise the car fleet in Europe, not necessarily changing the powertrain, just modernising the fleet, that would have more an effect on CO2 emissions than new car sales for 1 year being transitioned to EV powertrains. So that's quite an interesting alternative view from him. But obviously the European EV electric car industry is appalled and shocked and horrified at the fact that their meal ticket might be taken away from them, and so they, as this article explains, are really pushing to keep the status quo. Europe's electric car industry urges EU not to delay CO2 emission targets. What a surprise. Over 150 bosses from Europe's electric car industry signed a letter on Monday urging the European Union to stick to its 2035 zero-emission target for cars and vans. Absolutely zero vested interests in that particular piece of news. The electric car industry's signatories, including Volvo Cars and Polestar, warned against any delays to the targets, saying in the letter that would mean stalling Europe's EV market, handing an advantage to global competitors and eroding investor confidence. It follows a separate letter at the end of August from heads of the European Automobile Manufacturers and Automotive Suppliers Association to European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, stressing that 100% reduction for cars by 2035 was no longer feasible. Of course it's not. That letter included the signature of Mercedes-Benz CEO Ola Kalenius. On September the 12th, von der Leyen is set to discuss the future of the automotive sector with industry players, which are facing the dual threat of increased competition from Chinese rivals and US tariffs. Well, that will be an interesting day. It's the 9th of September today, 10th, 11th, 12th, that's going to be Friday. So it will be very interesting to see what the outcome of that meeting is. I think I suspect that they will keep the targets because that's the way Europe thinks. net zero trumps everything. And it'll be a smack in the face to the automakers, the traditional automakers, which will be a shame. You can find out what the result is. I'll put a video out on that on Friday. All right, that's it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one. Bye for now. If you'd like to support this channel and display your anti-EV credentials to your Tesla-owning neighbours at the same time, why not buy some awesome MGUY merchandise, like this mug, this baseball cap, or this t-shirt. Each high-quality item sports the MGUY No EV sign, and they're all made to order, perfect for irritating the hell out of your local EV zealots. Visit store.mguy.tv or click the link in the description to check out the full range of products. And of course, you can always just buy me a coffee. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen. Thanks very much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any tips or stories, go there. If you'd like to watch another video, go there. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, go there. And please subscribe to the channel.